Hello Fly Nation and welcome to the Freestyle Your Life podcast, the one and only podcast inspiring you to live your authentic greatness while teaching you that less is more. I'm your host, Erneste Zimmermann, and I'm on my mission to help you to be the hero you were meant to be and to live what you came for in life and in business. Remember, the quest we came here for is to discover our true nature, explore our potential and share it by living. Hello Fly Nation. If you are looking to turn your life around in a massive way, then my today's expert on the Freestyle Your Life podcast, Adam Schaeuble, on episode number 13 is a must-listen episode for you. Adam Schaeuble, aka the PhD, previously Heavy Dude, is the host of the top-ranked fitness podcast, The Million Pound Mission. He reached a point in his life where he was already having weight-related health issues in his late 20s. Then he decided to overhaul his lifestyle and his fitness and ended up losing over 100 pounds. Adam offers in-person and online coaching programs, fitness challenges and boot camps. And he has set his sights on inspiring over 1 million pounds of healthy results. He's also the author of the book The Third Component, which teaches how to get better results from any weight loss program. Let's jump right into it and let Adam motivate you to turn your life around in a massive way. My dear listeners of Fly Nation, today is Adam Schaeuble with me. So this sounds actually sort of German. It is, maybe. You will tell us. And he is a podcast colleague, and he runs the podcast and hosts the podcast, The Million Pound Mission, and has also a boot camp on that. And online programs and coaching, and he's very successful, and he had the challenge to lose weight in the first place, like most of us, what we do today, right? After our transformation, we do because we ourselves had the problem, right? And we look for a solution, whatever, to cure ourselves. And so we gained all the information and became expert on this field. So this is your personal topic, and I'm still flashed. We met in Tampa in February, and when I saw pics of you years before, it's amazing whatever you did, right? You were known as the previously Heavy Dude, right?
Yeah.
And you have been, and you did the whole transformation on that, and how you show up today, the sportive man, it's just incredible. So please share, how did you do it with diet, with sports, with whatever? And let's jump right into it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's always exciting to meet fellow podcasters and people that are very excited about sharing that message of health and abundance. So I'm very excited to be here, and I appreciate you sharing your platform with me. But you're exactly right. I came from a point that more and more Americans are finding themselves in, where they're very unhappy with their lifestyle, their health, their relationships, their career choice. And I was kind of in that rock bottom moment where back in 2007, I weighed 327 pounds. I had lots and lots of credit card and financial debt. My relationships weren't going in the right direction. I was beating myself up about career choices and the path that was going. I wasn't really excited about life in general. And I found myself in that rock bottom moment. And one of my friends introduced me to my first little dose of personal growth or personal development via the DVD called The Secret, the Law of Attraction. Mm-hmm. So I sat down and I watched it that night several times. And the next day I decided, I kind of had the rock bottom moment. And then I had my just put your foot down moment of no more. The backslide no longer continues. And I developed what I now call my lifestyle rehabilitation statement, where I mapped out what I wanted to create in my life over the next 5 years. Mm-hmm. So what I wanted my relationships to look like, what I wanted my health to look like, what I wanted my business to look like, what I wanted my finances to look like. And, that's basic goal setting, but I kind of took it a few levels further, where I wrote out a statement as if everything had already happened. I had the date that I was currently at, July 12th of 2007. I had a 5-year deadline of July 12th, 2012. And I wrote as if I was standing in that moment on July 12th, 2012, 5 years later, right, as if everything had already happened. So I didn't write a goal of, I want to lose 100 pounds. I would write, I've lost 100 pounds and I feel amazing because I can shop anywhere. I feel confident in myself. I feel confident talking to anybody. I'm just proud of the way my body looks and performs. So I added emotion behind it. I kind of put myself in that place in that moment. Then once I did that, I had my goals. Everything was written out in the statement as if it had already happened. Then I implemented every single day for 5 years, where I read that statement every morning and every night for 5 years, every morning, every night, out loud with passion, putting myself in that spot 5 years, down the road. And I achieved every single goal. So over that 5-year time span, I lost 100 pounds. I fell in love, got married, started a family. I got rid of $40,000 of credit card debt. We bought a house. I started a business. I helped my hometown lose 35,000 pounds by the business I created.
Incredible.
So all these crazy things happened in that 5-year time span with that deadline that I gave myself. And the real magic is, we hear a lot about the law of attraction, but I always say you can't spell attraction without action. So you can't just sit and read your statement. That's a good first step, but you have to put implementation and action behind it. So for me, every day I had to do something that got me closer to at least one of those goals every single day. And I wouldn't let myself go to bed at night if I hadn't implemented and done even something so small as I did a 5-minute workout or a stretching session, or I drank some extra water, or I sent an email, I read a blog, I learned something new. I had to do something every single day, and it's just like chopping down a tree. just chip away and chip away and chip away. You just don't take any days off from that. And eventually you hit your goal. And that's exactly what I did. So that's, if I have a superpower, I would definitely say it's implementation, where I see a lot of people, I'm sure you do too, where they get excited about an idea, they get fired up about a goal, and like, I really want that, but then they never really implement and take consistent action in line with that goal that they're trying to achieve. And that is what I do. That's what I teach other people how to do. But that's kind of the big overall story. And then we can kind of dive into any of the certain areas that you want to from there.
Yeah, right. I'm really, it's so amazing what you did there. And it's not only willpower, right? You need to do it and discipline, to stick to it, to keep going every day. Because if you say, oh, well, I paused this week, right? So the next week you're sort of, let's pause another week, right? And then you lose the momentum, right? In all of it. But still, of course, I know the secret by heart and implemented it myself. But please share with the listeners, how did you how did you stick to it, right? So you set up your statement or declaration, whatever you call it, what you want to intend, right? And till when, and specified and everything. And of course, we need to put emotion into it, not just sort of, oh, well, if I reach it, brilliant. If not, well, okay. With this attitude, right, you're not likely to reach big, huge goals like you have. So in every area of life, right, you wanted to improve. Right. And but for plenty people that I talk to, they still have a problem with the secret and with the law of attraction, because they lose the I wouldn't say it's willpower. They still want it in some way, right? Because it's hard from this way you came from to come up where
Right.
today, or for 40,000 in depth. It's a big amount. We need courage to move through and willpower and discipline, of course. But how? And I know you're working so great with your customers, right? So that's them, by the way, in the background.
Yeah. No, these are my podcast guests in the background.
Oh, great. Because it looks so nice. Well, but that's, of course, it's the job of the coach, and you are really with the Facebook group and everything. I checked in preparation before, and as I know you personally, yeah. You're giving them the spirit and the challenge and the exercises and everything, right? But yep. But what is the specialty that they really stick to it? Yeah, because yep. that's is it to break down the goals, because this is a long-term goal, right? So if you're overweight and you try to take some Chinese pills, whatever, that might not be healthy to do, right? To lose weight too quick, for example, right? So we are looking for solutions that, of course, lose weight in your case, but still do it in a healthy way, right?
Right. Right. And I think the key to like sticking to that's the big issue that I think you brought up there, is that people get excited about something and then they take action for a while and then their energy level dies off and they mm-hmm. go back. So they lose weight, they gain it back. And mm-hmm. I feel like there's a few things that we can dive into that'll help people. One is the relationship between the why and the why not. I'm always looking at that. There's having a goal is good, but what's the why behind that goal? And what I mean is, if your goal is to lose 20 pounds, well, why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Why do you need to lose 20 pounds? Mm-hmm. Why is it like burning in your soul to lose that 20 pounds? And if it's to look good on spring break or for a vacation or to fit into an outfit, that's okay. But that's mm-hmm. not going to keep you going long-term, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to level up our whys. And so I would challenge people to make a list of, if you have a big goal, whether it's financial, relationship, business, health, write that goal at the top of a spreadsheet and make two lists, why and why not. So why do you need to achieve this, and go as deep as you can on that why. So for example, with a weight loss goal, if you want to lose 20 pounds, you might say, well, why is that? Well, my doctor wants me to get off of blood, he's going to put me on blood pressure medication if I don't. Right. Okay, well, why is that an issue? Well, I don't want to have a heart attack. Well, why is that an issue? Well, if I have a heart attack, I won't be here for my children. I won't see my daughter. I won't be able to walk her down the aisle. I won't be able to see my son play high school basketball, things like that. I won't be able to play with my grandchildren. You get to the emotional component of like, okay, why is this really important? Not just surface level important. Yeah, you look good in that suit or whatever, but who needs you to be around? Maybe it's your grandkids, maybe it's your pet, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your coworkers, maybe it's all the above. So we have to level up that why. And then you make a list of the why nots. The typical things like, I don't have time. I don't have the money. I don't have the energy. This is going to be hard. It might be the hardest thing that I ever do. And if your why is big enough, it doesn't matter if all the why nots happen at once. And that's when you know that you're going to achieve your goal. Is you just look, it's like stacking up. My son plays with Legos. So, if you're stacking up the blocks on one side, the why always has to be a taller stack than the why not, or you will not achieve your goal. You will quit. And with weight loss, the really interesting thing, and this is a scenario that I really struggled to wrap my mind around, but I use the analogy of my son with his Lego blocks. It's, if you have lost weight and you gain it back, people really struggle with that. They're like, it's really hard to lose it again or lose it a second or third time. Why is that? Well, physiologically it's harder because our metabolism's messed up and things like that. But mentally it's harder because we can't come to that scenario with the same why. We have to, it has to be even bigger, because the why nots got bigger because you have that fear of failure, that fear of gaining it back. And that sense that you have failed, like you're beating yourself up about it. So that already stacks up the why not. So you have to come with a bigger why on top of what you initially got those results with. So that's one thing to be aware of. But then the other process that I like to describe to people is what I call the transformation timeline. So it's a 3-phase, just a process that I see people go through as they transform their lifestyle, as they transform their body, as they lose weight, as they get healthy. And just understanding this usually helps people go, okay, I'm in this phase. This is how I get to the next phase. This is what the next phase looks like, because this is hard. This is hard work. And if you're just hammering away, putting in effort and not really knowing where you're going to, you don't have that roadmap, it's easy to quit. So really quickly, the 3 phases, the first one is where we launch the transformation, and we're usually escaping a scenario that I call the black hole of fitness doom, where we start something new, we get some initial results, life happens, we're not ready for it, we regain the weight, and we go around in that cycle. So I call this the coachability phase. So to escape this first phase, you have to opt in and get some help and realize that I need a coach, or I need to read a book, or for things to change, I have to change, basically. You don't have to necessarily pay somebody, but that usually helps if you get somebody to kind of drag you through it. But you have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to accept that the way that you're doing things right now are not working, and we have to make a shift. So that's how we shift from phase 1 to phase 2. So we implement something new. Phase 2 is what I call the health and lifestyle balance phase, where this is where a lot of people quit, because they get into this is really hard. I can't do this forever. This can't be my lifestyle forever. So maybe they decide to lose weight, and they're starting to exercise 5 or 6 hours a week, and they're eating super, super healthy, and they get burnt out on that because they think that I have to do this forever. And as we enter that second phase, we start to actually rebalance that equation a little bit and say, okay, we've got some momentum going. Instead of going 6 hours a week at the gym, maybe we can go 4. We can add a few extra hours with your children, or going out with friends, or something like that. And we start to rebalance the equation. But so many people just kind of dip their toe in the water on that second phase and go, oh, I can't handle this forever, I quit, when they're almost there. So what I want you guys to do as you listen in, if you find yourself in that spot again, go, ooh, Adam talked about this. This is good, actually, that I'm thinking about. This is really hard. That means I'm getting close, and I need to start rebalancing my lifestyle and my health. So we still want you healthy, but we also want you content with your lifestyle. And then the third phase that we get to, once we're content, we have that nice balance, we're achieving our big goal. This is what I call new purpose, new identity. And if people don't do this, they will gain all their weight back. So I've helped almost 20 people now lose over 100 pounds. And not every single one of them has kept that off. And the error I see happening is they become coachable. They go through phase 1. They rebalance their lifestyle. They go through phase 2. But then they don't have that new thing that excites them once they are done losing weight. So they are that person. They still identify as the 100-pound weight loss person. And that was the thing that was their why. That was their big why. And once that's achieved, they don't have that big why anymore. And the why nots start to win, and they go all the way back. So you have to achieve a mindset of, okay, now this is the next thing that's going to keep me going. This is my new purpose. This is my new identity. So for a lot of people that I work with, they start trying things like adventure races or mud 5K, or they do like a powerlifting contest, or they just try to, they go on a hike. They do a big adventure trip, but something that will inspire them to take that their transformation to the next level. So just having those 3 phases mapped out and saying, okay, where are you at? How do you get to the next one? What's that going to look like so that you're ready for it? That usually helps quite a bit with people just moving down the chain.
So glad, Adam, you just did explain that so very well. And most of my interview guests, I pick them because I know them. They did it themselves first, right? Because I strongly believe the best method we can learn without really having it hard to do and learn the hard way is to learn from stories and tips and examples of people who actually did exactly that, right? So that's why I invited you to share this with us, because you did it for yourself, you're doing it daily for your client, and you're so successful with it. And well, I'm still flashed when I see it. Yeah, because I think that's such a big goal, right? What you achieve, and then to put it into a system, into a business, that's incredible, right? So what I always said is the why should be even bigger than myself for my case, right? So whatever it is, what we are doing here, right? But as I know you, I can just say that as we met personally. So both of us, we are doing this for a higher person, right? A purpose to inspire another person, right? It's not just for us doing business, but it's with the whole heart and soul and everything we are in here, and that's the higher vision and mission we are on, right?
Yep.
And that if that comes into play, it's a whole other feeling, right? Because we are sort of led by the universe and by this higher mission, not only for ourselves, but what we do here is just to inspire our listeners, and sharing what worked for you and why you implemented the system the way you did, and why you're so crazy successful, right? And from listening on the go, as our guests are not always on the desk here and writing and everything, but once they hear the story, they can remember, Adam, this was that guy, and he did this and this and this. And if they don't have every phase and every step, right, it will be just mentioned in the show notes. But the story you're telling here, it will stick. That's why I'm so fascinated from personal examples and stories.
Yeah, and I agree with what you said there, especially with health. So many people are on that journey where, again, they know they're willing to work hard. They don't have that map. They need that visual. So I like to create processes or visual things or stories, like you said, where we can say, here is where you're at on the map. Here's where you want to get to. And here are the steps to get there. So I create all kinds of processes and, imagery and things like that, just because I feel like it's so important for people to understand where they're at, instead of, well, if I just keep working really, really hard, hopefully I'll eventually get there. That's like just taking off in your car and just driving somewhere and hoping that you get to Hawaii. It's not going to happen. So
and then you have no GPS, and if the wrong GPS is on track, well, you need to reset it.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
So that's so wonderful. And I had a clear look in the transformation battle plan. So please share something about that. That's the course. Some of what you just told us and explained is in there. Yep. But there's more.
Yeah. I created a document that I call the Transformation Battle Plan Workbook, and it's free. It's my best tool, which all my mentors like, you can't give your best thing away for free. But I feel like if I can give that to people for free and it impacts them, then they'll come back to me and saying, wow, this is his free thing. Then if I have to pay him for something, it's going to be spectacular, which it is. But it's not a, sometimes you get on somebody's email list and they send you a thing and it's like a 1-page PDF. This is almost 30 pages. So it's not a small document at all. But I believe in the concept of a 28-day cycle, a 28-day battle, where we look into the future and we say, okay, what are my commitments to my health? what nutrition plan am I going to be committed to for 28 days? That's an issue for some people because they get excited about, especially podcast listeners. They'll listen to one show and do intermittent fasting, then listen to another show and do keto and listen to another show and they'll go vegan.
And they go up and down.
Yeah. They bounce around with if they do get results, they don't know what produced the result because they're doing so many things. So we say 28 days, commit, don't change anything. Same thing with our fitness, 28 days, commit. So if you have a personal trainer, buy sessions in advance. If you are doing group fitness, book the classes in advance. If you are meeting with your friends, put that in your schedule in advance for 28 days. And, people really struggle with this. They do I'm going to work out a few times this week. And if I wake up on time, if I feel like going to work out, I will. And it just doesn't happen. That gets squeezed out a lot. So, block the time off in your schedule, get committed. Very important. Then we look 28 days in advance and we say, okay, what could throw us off track? Is there a vacation? Is there a stressful time period? I've got several of my clients that are accountants or in the legal field, and they're dealing with tax season right now. So that whole scenario, those are danger zones. This is what we call strategic thinking in the workbook, where we think out what could actually trip us up, what could send us spiraling backwards on that black hole of fitness doom. So we look for those things 20 days in advance. Yes.
Prepared on.
Yes.
Well, it's let's face it, it's absolutely challenging, right? What you did or what I did to face that and be sitting here with you. So that's, of course, it's challenging because it comes with the item and the problem we face. But and I think it's not useful if we tell ourselves, it's gonna be easy. No, of course it will not be easy if it's such a high goal, right?
Yep.
But in being prepared that it will be challenging, yes, it will. But with a good coach at your side, who guides you, who has the roadmap where to go, who can kick you, who is your accountability partner and everything. So you're in a Facebook group, right? You have the community to level you up also. With all that surrounding, it's possible, right? Yep. We did it before. So it's possible, and be prepared. It's challenging, but yes, if you want it, and if you want it badly, and if the why and the reason is strong enough, you will go for it, and then just keep doing, right?
Yep, and you keep implementing, and you keep readjusting, and that's another thing I like about the 28-day mindset. Is we're not thinking, a year in advance. We can set goals down that line. We can do a lifestyle rehabilitation statement like I did. But when we're thinking implementation, I love the 28-day cycle because that's long enough to see a result, but it's not long enough to get really intimidated and psych ourselves out of going, right? Out of taking action at all. So, and things change in 28 days. So maybe you lose your job or a relationship changes or you get injured or you decide to shift nutritional styles and go from being a meat eater to a vegan or something like that. So that way we're not wasting time building out a plan, many, many months in advance, but it's like a stair-step approach. And it's working with my community members, and inside my community, we're getting ready to start our 9th 28-day cycle. And the people that started off with cycle 1, when I first launched the program, they had this stress level was high and they're freaking out about all the little things. And now each time we put that danger zone out there and say, okay, cycle 1, vacations were a major issue. I would gain a lot of weight and I wouldn't get back into my rhythm for several weeks afterwards. Now, same people just went on spring break. They gained a minimal amount of weight. They had fun still. They found that balance between health and lifestyle. They just jumped right back into a plan and they're eating healthy again the next day after they get home. And it's just a huge experience. I mean, it's just so positive. So the 28-day cycle is something that I really would encourage people to give a try.
Yeah, great. And it's 28 days because we know then we implement new habits, right? And we need to make it a habit. So if it's a habit, the new way to eat and exercise and live, right? Once we have implemented this new habit, it becomes easier.
Yep.
Right? The first step is the hardest.
Right.
And then we just need to keep on track. And I totally agree. The easiest way is just to keep going and doing daily actions. Maybe small, but be moving and be consistent.
Yeah. Yeah. And in the workbook, I do it's very low tech, but I learned this technique from watching Jerry Seinfeld, the comedian, interview, where we do a habit tracker where you pick one habit that you really want to focus on for each 28-day cycle. And then there are 28 boxes. And each time you complete that daily habit, you just put an X in the box. Yeah. And what Jerry Seinfeld says, when he wanted to be a better comedian, he got a calendar out, a paper calendar, and he would just write a joke every single day. And every time he wrote a joke, he would just write an X on the calendar. And he would say, I just didn't want to break the chain of X's. And that's the same thing that happens with our habit tracker. And we're doing some other things around habit launch challenges and stuff like that. But it's, just doing a simple form of accountability like that is huge. And I encourage people that I'm working with to establish what I call accountability anchor points in as many areas of their life as possible, where, and that's a major thing that people tend to run from. We shy away from accountability because, especially in health and fitness, we see that as judgment. Like, ooh, I don't want to be held accountable because Adam's going to be judging me and shaking his finger and shaming me if I don't hit my 20-pound goal. And the type of accountability I'm talking about, like if somebody hires me as a coach and they have a 20-pound weight loss goal, I'm not holding them accountable to that goal. I'm holding them accountable to taking the action steps necessary to achieve that goal. So I'm going to hold them accountable to showing up to the gym, to filling out their workbook, to eating healthy and establishing those habits. We might hit the goal. We might not. We might lose 40 pounds. We might lose 18 pounds. Good things will happen if we implement those habits. We're accountable to them and we get consistent around those. That's where the magic is.
Yeah, definitely. But it's much easier to have a coach by the side who walks the shoes, right?
Yep.
And who knows the challenges, and I think that's really key. So I worked with so many mentors in my life, and still sort of doing that. Mostly Americans. Really great mentors and coaches, and you can improve so much from it, right? But I always watched out that they have been doing what I wanted to achieve, right? That's key. That's essential, because of course we have so many coaches out there who might have read a book, right? How to do reading your book and then teach it, and I always say it feels different, right?
Yeah.
If somebody did it, and then he can teach it because he knows by heart how this goes, which challenges occur, and whatever, right?
Yep.
And that's really essential to go on with the implementation, right? And do you have so they come into the boot camp and they stay afterwards, or is it finished after a while? Or
yeah, the program that I'm focused most on right now is called my Transformation Reboot program, where it's just a monthly 28-day membership where I don't like the mindset so much. I've done 8-week boot camps and 90-day challenges, and the thing that bothers me about that is that there's something that I call transformation light switch syndrome, where people do a 60-day program and it's like flipping the light switch on, and then the program ends, it's like flipping the light switch off, and they go back to all their old habits. So I like to work with people that are willing to opt into the mindset of, we're just doing something every single month and it just goes. And we are showing up for ourselves and our goals, and we're leveling up. our habits and our goals every single 28-day cycle. And we just keep marching forward together as a community. And that's my main focus right now, because I believe that's the mindset that's going to be most successful for people in the long term, where, I love getting people fired up about a challenge and things like that, but we have to be thinking about the marathon more than the sprint, because the sprint wears us out quick. And that's where the people are flipping that light switch on and off. And there's a lot of weight loss and regain. I own a fitness facility, and we used to do 8-week boot camps, and we would give out prizes for the winners for who lost the most weight, or percentage of body weight loss or whatever. And I can't even name one person that won one of the challenges that stuck with it long term, because they were in the mindset of, I want to win this challenge. That was the why. And then once that was gone, the why nots come and wipe it out, and back they go to all, they gain every bit of it back. So we quit doing that. Another funny, like, they would win all this gym credit and stuff, and then they wouldn't even use it. Like, it's crazy, just the mental switch that gets flipped there with the why and the why not. So that's just another interesting example.
So they could come in and pause or come back or stop it on a monthly membership base.
Yep.
Is it that?
Yeah. With the Reboot program, and it's all online, and it's a lot of fun. It's what I love to do. I've got clients now that we do Zoom chats just like we're doing here today, and we talk all across the world, and we get to check in every single week. And it's one of the things I find people missing in their transformation strategy. People will be very excited about their nutrition or their fitness, or hopefully both, but they're missing out a community factor. And you kind of touched on that earlier, but having that group of like-minded people really makes a huge difference. And a mistake that I see many people making is, like, let's say there's a husband and a wife, a couple, and the wife, the woman wants to lose weight, and she starts to lose weight, but then she'll expect her husband to be her accountability partner, and he's not that into it, and so they kind of force that coaching position on their spouse when they don't even want anything to do with it. And then it doesn't work. And there's some friction that's created there, where I tell people, like, maybe your husband or your wife or your spouse, maybe they're not into it right now. They're not ready to make that journey themselves. And that's a serious commitment. So let us be your community. Let us be your accountability partners. Let us be your support system. The worst possible accountability coach is somebody that doesn't want to be your accountability coach, or somebody that is not directly in line with what you're trying to achieve. So,
but just doesn't want to say no, and but doesn't
exactly.
Like it, right?
And then it just becomes friction and arguments, and it's a bad deal. So that's a tough call for people to make sometimes, but it's once they join the community, they see that we've got the structure built up of just nurturing and support and motivation, and we're all in it together, where that's a big deal, because a lot of people are out there losing weight and regaining it back, and they're stuck in that cycle. They feel like they're alone in that journey. They feel like they're a screw up. They feel like they're messing it up. They're beating themselves up, and they start to lose hope, and they start to lose willpower. And I like to show them that we've all had those moments where we feel like we're screwing things up, and we're driving the struggle bus. But, just having our eyes opened to a community of people and we realize, A, we're not alone, and B, we're not actually screwing us up. We just needed some clarity to change our position and to change our trajectory a little bit. It's just an eye-opening moment. That's probably my favorite part about what I do, is leading people into that aha moment of, wow, wait a second, I can actually do this. As a coach, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, and at least we're all in the same boat, right? So I don't struggle too much with weight, but I have the other challenges, right? So all of us have something to work on. Let's put it like that. And that's why we are here and decided to do podcasts. So your podcast is top ranked. I'm watching out to reach there. So that's my goal at the moment. But you have a top ranked fitness podcast, and people of your program, do they get interviewed, or the people in the back there, or experts, or who?
Yeah, what I do with my Million Pound Mission podcast, I do episodes on Mondays and Fridays. So on Mondays, I rotate. I'll interview an industry expert one Monday, and the following Monday, I'll do a solo episode where I teach one of my concepts. Like I talk about the black hole of fitness doom, or the transformation timeline, or things like that, things we've been talking about. And then on Fridays, I do interviews with my clients they're basically just coaching sessions. I record the coaching sessions that I do, and we put those out as an episode so that people, I feel like that's when I'm at my best. I have no idea what we're going to talk about. We sit down on Zoom like this, and I go, okay, what would you like to focus on for the next 15 minutes? And they kind of pitch their danger zones at me, and I give them strategies and solutions. So people love, I think people, I hope people love the Friday episodes. And then that's kind of the rhythm of the show. But it's like you said, podcasting is a very special medium, and it's gaining so much momentum now because people are wanting to be more efficient. I do a lot of video, I do a lot of live stuff, but it's hard for people to sit down and watch a video for an hour, but they can listen to us talk for an hour as they drive to work, as they walk at lunch, or as they are doing the dishes or sweeping the floor at home. They can listen and they can plug in. And I feel so lucky to be able to express myself as a podcaster and have people willing to spend that time and listen in. I feel like just so special. And I know that you probably feel this way too, but like I have this message burning inside of me to almost an annoying level. If I can't get it out, if I feel like it's not reaching an audience, if it's not making an impact, it's very, very frustrating for me. Yeah. So I know that I know. The same. Yes. So it's nice to be heard. And I freak out every single time that somebody sends me an email and says, hey, I listened to your episode or your interview and this was awesome. It made a difference. Or I get an Instagram message or whatever. I still freak out every time. It just makes my heart sing, and I just love it.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. That's a brilliant last sentence to wrap it up, because we are nearly at the end with our interview time here. So I strongly believe listeners could get a shortcut of all what you're doing there in the background. So I will mention everything in the show notes. Is there something we did forget or we need to mention, Adam? By the way, it sounds so German, this name.
Yeah, my last name is German. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. The American pronunciation is Schäuble, but German, I believe, is like Schaeuble. Schäuble. Yeah. Yeah. Schäuble. My uncle Wolfgang is in government in Germany. Wolfgang, he's in a wheelchair. He was shot. But he's your uncle? Yeah. Come on. Yeah. So yeah, I understand he's pretty famous over there. So
yeah, totally.
Yeah. So that's cool. He's not like a direct uncle, but he's but he's my uncle. So it's pretty neat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that's the most famous person for this name. He's known everywhere here.
Yeah, I hope to surpass him one day.
Okay.
No, I've had a blast talking to you today, and I think that anybody that got value out of this, I hope that you go to iTunes and leave a review, hit the subscribe button, and leave a review, and let everybody know that this was your favorite episode. That way, everybody gets to check it out.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Fly Nation, thanks for listening in today to this absolutely motivating episode number 13 with Adam Schaeuble on a topic that affects so many of us nowadays: overweight-related diseases. Surely this episode with Adam on how to reduce weight and the related diseases inspired you to break free and do the necessary changes. He will guide you along the way. Feel free to share the Fly podcast with your friends who might also profit from the tips revealed. Don't forget to subscribe to be sure to catch your next success story and guidance with Ken Barkin on episode number 14, airing on Tuesday, May 28th. With your subscription, you're also qualified to be in the Fly Winner Lottery pot. And I encourage you to become the I Love the Fly podcast winner and to win amazing prizes the experts and myself thrown in. Just by naming 3 referred friends who could also benefit from the insights and the inspiration shared on the Fly Freestyle Your Life podcast, you qualify. Please rate and review either on freestyleyourlifepodcast.com or on your favorite podcast directory, such as iTunes, Stitcher, or Spotify. You can find all links and recaps in the show notes on freestyleyourlifepodcast.com. Adam is happy to assist you. Have a great day and go for your dreams. Remember, Fly Nation, break free and fly. Talk to you next Tuesday when Ken shows you how to strive versus just survive. Bye-bye.